is falling at the seams. No one even seems to care what that means. No point in hoping for a better day. You see, it's our responsibility to carve the way for change.
So this month we've mainly been focusing on the veg plot, keeping the weeds down, making sure everything's growing nicely, and also introducing the chickens and ducks that we were given. Yeah, trying to get them used to coming out in the garden, make them as free range as possible. So yeah, we've had loads of produce off the garden so far. We've had some courgettes, we've had some tomatoes, lettuce, herbs, beetroot, onions, chilies, potatoes, and the list goes on. So yeah, we're just basically going to go through what we've got going on. We've got some courgettes down here. We had one off here that was literally the size of my arm, literally. So yeah, we've got another 1, 2, 3, 4. Got about 5 coming on there, so hopefully they're just as big. We've got some plum tomatoes that we planted. There's quite a bit of fruit on there, so just wait for them to turn ripe. And this one is a cherry tomato, which is self-seeded from last year. We only had tomatoes in this bed and this bed last year, and you can see there's loads of tomatoes that have also self-seeded in this one. So we've only planted 3 at the end, so the rest of them are all from fruit that dropped last year. We've got some onion there that we've left, and also some leeks and some beetroot, which basically we left a few in from last year's harvest, basically so that this year they would flower and then also seed. So we're just waiting for nature to do its thing, and we should be able to take the seeds from these flowers when they're dried out, and also from the beetroot and the onions. So we've got some mint down there that's basically for to keep away pests from the tomatoes. Yeah, some more beetroot seeds. We've got a cucumber over here which doesn't seem to be growing too quickly, but I think it was covered by the beetroot plants, the tomatoes and the leeks, so hopefully now it's got a bit more space it'll grow a bit quicker. We've got some more plum tomatoes, some strawberries down here which have multiplied since last year. So I've had a few off there, but they're not very established at the minute. So if we go over to the keyhole duck garden that we made when we were first here, have a look on the YouTube channel for that and the explanation and how to do it, etc. But we've got some basil in here, which looks like it's going to seed. Some parsley, some mint from last year, some tarragon we've just been given. So we've just transplanted that, so hopefully it survives. We've got some chives which self-seeded from last year, so we've just basically clumped them together and yeah, kind of spaced them apart. We've got some oregano here which we thought had died after transplanting it, but there's some new shoots on there, so yeah, hopefully it's looking quite healthy. And lastly in this bit we've got celery which we left in from last year as well, so that's starting to seed, or it is seeding, and you can see some of them are starting to dry out. I'm not sure if you can see that, but yeah, so we should be able to get some seeds off them soon. So in this bed we've got our 3 tomato plants that we did plant. They seem to not be doing quite as well as the plum tomato ones. On this side we've got quite a few that we need to pick on there. But yeah, all these other tomato plants that are in here are self-seeded from last year. So obviously fallen fruit that's rotted and yeah, giving us some plants. So there's a few cherry tomato ones in there, so they're starting to fruit. So we'll wait for them to ripen and obviously harvest them. We've got some sweet corn here, which yeah, kind of didn't really think, but it seems to be shading out all the light from the plants at the back. But yeah, be interesting to see how they grow. I've never done it before. So we've got our 4 types of chilies in here. These are the hot chilies, so I'm not sure how they're going to grow, whether they go red or what. So I'm just going to leave them to do their thing for a while. But we've got loads of chilies on the sweet ones, and again we've got some kind of sweet hot ones here that are coming through. I'm not sure if you can see that. Yeah, there's a few of those dotted around. We've got our herbs closest to the gate, so we can just pop out when we're cooking, etc. We've got 2 types of thyme, some rosemary, some basil here, some mint over in that bed. We've planted a few beetroot across here, which seem to be flourishing quite well. Been harvesting the leaves for salads, and obviously the roots for kind of roast vegetables and things like that. As I mentioned in the last vlog, we've left this bed basically just to harvest weeds, so to speak, to put on the compost heap. But we're going to turn this over soon, put some cardboard down and create another layer on the lasagna garden bed. But yeah, we're going to plant some bits for winter hopefully, so we can harvest some food throughout the winter as well. As I say, we've got our basil there, which is obviously to harvest as well, but also to deter pests. We've got a load of lettuce, we've got a rhubarb plant down there. We've just planted some leeks, so hopefully they'll come in for winter time. Planted some more cabbages, so we'll pickle that. It's really good for your intestines and cleaning out your system, so to speak. We've got a few more beetroot plants dotted around. Some cherry tomato plants over here. I'm not quite sure what these are, but I think they're some form of squash. We planted them thinking they were butternut squash, but it turns out that they're not, but they do look like some form of squash. So we'll again just leave them to see how they do and pick a couple and see if they're ripe. But we've got more cabbages here. They seem to be doing pretty well. We've got some aubergines, or eggplants as the Americans would call it. Not sure if you can see that, but there's a few growing. We've got our marigolds there basically to keep pests away from the potatoes that we had there. So the squash has kind of grown over the potato patch now, so we'll leave them till last. But we've got some potatoes at the back in tyres that we've been harvesting. And just to finish up quickly, we've got some tomatoes in here and our first watermelon and some honeydew melons to come. So we're just going to go and put the chickens and ducks away so we can let the dogs out. Funny little things. So we've got a couple that were given to us by some people we help out. They were getting bullied by the cockerels, so yeah, we've taken them on. Still a few feathers missing, but should come back. These two are looking nice and healthy, and the first two I got, and they were looking a bit worse for wear. But yeah, they're doing all good. Probably getting at least 2 or 3 eggs a day between the ducks and And the chickens, yeah, they'll watch them go all crazy. Loving life.
This world is falling at the seams. No one even seems to care what that means. No point in hoping for a better day. You see, it's our responsibility